Good morning, everyone, and thanks for joining me today for episode three of Payroll and Pastries, the interview series. Today, I have the absolute pleasure of being joined by Kevin from Employment Hero. And Kevin, I'll allow you to introduce yourself.
Thank you. The pleasure's all mine, mate. It's always good to chat to you and see you again. Yeah, hi everybody. I'm Kevin Fitzgerald, Managing Director of Employment here in the UK. Really happy to be here with Russell, who obviously is an expert in the space, and hopefully we can entertain you guys for the next half an hour. Yeah.
Absolutely. Kevin and I had the pleasure of meeting at quite a few of the events around town, HR Technologies. It was great the last time I saw Kevin because you had some color expert at your stand matching you to your specific color, and I think she was saying the same thing to everyone though, wasn't she?
It was pretty close, like skin tone is pretty common, right? Like between the two of us. I think I came away with autumn in autumn, so yeah, we'll see how it goes. I don't get a lot of time to do clothes shopping
Well,
nowadays.
well, she said I had exceptional eyes, so I was.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
But then she said the same thing to someone else 5 minutes later, and I got a bit jealous. Super. So, Kevin, I'd love to hear to share. Obviously, I've spoken to you before, but I'd love to share more about your kind of career journey to Employment Hero. I mean, Employment Hero seems to be everywhere at the moment. I was in the car the other day and I heard an advert on the radio for Employment Hero, and I thought about you.
Good.
But I'd love to hear your journey into how you got where you are at the moment.
Yeah, it's good to hear the advertising is having an impact. Look, it goes back 25, 26 years now when I first started professional career. So late 90s, left high school, decided to take a pretty probably not a typical route, but it's quite popular with the ACCA. So I went to work straight away. I didn't go to full-time university. I actually went to
Yeah,
work full-time, and I went to university at nighttime and weekends. Um, so it was like 9 to 5:30 in the office, 6 o'clock to 9:30 at night in lectures
yeah,
for years, and like it was tough, right? But like you got the best real life training possible. Um,
absolutely.
let's say you got the theory, the book piece, and then you got the reality. Like I've actually been in the business, and I worked for an SME. There was 25 of us. It was a small accounting firm in Dublin. All of our clients were SMEs. Um, and that's where I learned my trade, right? Like, and it was
Yeah,
bookkeeping, payroll, accounting when they felt I was good enough to do it, um, and tax, financial, like any kind of lending. So it was the whole gamut of everything to do with an SME. But it gave me, as a 18, 19-year-old, it gave me a real wake up call to like
imagine.
how business worked, the mechanics of business, the stress of business, the professionalism and skill needed to run payroll and accounting. Like it, I rate them as very high caliber industries, very professional.
Absolutely.
So it's good just to see it. And it was only later when I looked back that I realized that I'd got such great training and understanding. Um, so I spent 12 years as an accountant, majority of the time working for SMEs.
Yeah.
I packed my bags out of Dublin, went to Australia, like many Irish do. And I'd kind of lost a little bit of love with accounting at that stage. And it just, for me personally, wasn't satisfying anymore.
Sure.
And by the way, this is like pre all the cloud systems that were out there. So it might sound like a long time ago. I actually went into recruitment and I was recruiting accountants into accounting firms. So like you
I'm
couldn't
guessing it's
just
good to
kind of,
see things from both sides.
yeah, because the clients, probably built trust quicker with me because they're like, look, he knows what he's talking about.
Yeah,
And then people who are looking for a change in their career, I could actually give them probably more advice than a standard recruiter.
sure.
Um, so that was really good. 3.5 years in that space in Australia, and I loved it actually because it gave me two things. It gave me a lot more understanding of people in depth, like and why they make decisions and motivations, and what they really really want, but also explaining to people like their choices.
Yeah.
as a career in your career. Like that was really, really good. Then I kept seeing, probably similar to you, the advertising of Zero. And I was like, cloud accounting, right? I wish I had had that back in the early 2000s.
Were
I
you
think
not
we
intimidated by it though? Like, because obviously some of these industries you're very set in your ways, about how you do things, and it's such a big change to the cloud that
mm,
perhaps some people get intimidated by it.
it can be. I don't think it's in my character, like to kind of receive it that way. I was like, oh wow,
Sure.
what's this? First reaction was, I'd probably still be an accountant if I had this. Yeah, because
Yeah.
we were PC based, Excel based, paper, working paper files like this thick,
Remember
and
offices where you got stacks of files up here, Yeah.
yeah. Well, the place in Dublin was a converted house. The storage was the converted attic. So the most junior people in the business were the ones going up and down the
Sitting in the
attic
loft.
stairs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, so I reached out to somebody who I realized I knew worked at Zero, and he was actually the internal recruiter, and managed to land a role there to be one of the sales leaders. Absolutely, like opened my eyes to what I'd probably missed was happening in the industry.
Yeah.
Loved it. I was back in the seat of serving accounting firms, bookkeepers, and SMEs, and I was with Zero Australia for a few years, and they asked me to go to Asia and open the business there. So that was
Oh,
going from a very successful corporate into a component that was a startup, and um, Asia was behind, right? Like it really was like maybe 3, 4 years behind. So there was a lot of skepticism about the cloud generally, not just cloud
oh,
accounting. But Singapore is very progressive.
yeah. Yeah, I've heard. Yeah.
And in 2 years we went from having 1,000 customers in Singapore to a
Mm,
hundred to 100,000.
wow.
Like it was brilliant, right? Um, and yeah, and look, it was still seeing the satisfaction when you speak to an SME or an accountant or a bureau, and they're like, yeah, actually, this has changed things for us like really dramatically.
Yeah.
It's not easy. You don't just switch it on and the magic happens. Like you got to invest in it, right? Like and spend time and go through the change management. So I really enjoyed that piece. And then Employment Hero kept popping up, and they were a partner of Zero, and still are. And I was like, oh, actually, like this is like very different. Like the bringing payroll and HR together, I hadn't seen before. I understood the USP because at Zero, the biggest win is having the general ledger in the cloud, and then you can do what you need.
Sure.
But having the employee file in one place for payroll and HR solves a multitude of systematic problems,
Yeah.
data sharing problems. So I was with the business for a year in Southeast Asia, and then the opportunity came up to lead the UK, and I said yes. January, February last year.
Yeah.
Um, and moved in July. So it's been brilliant. The satisfaction I get from just actually knowing that I can work somewhere where you can actually help people is really important to me, and making sure we don't become a faceless tech company is really important to me. Um,
It's nice to have that human touch still, even though you might be a vendor with the most exceptional technology, but you still got to have that personal human touch.
you have to look at, for me, people say, how do you, why do you like work and why are you satisfied? That's the bit, right? Like
Yeah.
that you can still be yourself, like, and actually have a positive impact. And the UK is a professional challenge for me, right? Like I haven't been in the market for a long time, still learning day in, day out, like what can we do? What should we do? Our brand is building, our team is building. And I think we have something really special, like to bring to the UK. Yeah.
Amazing. What would you find the biggest kind of differences in terms of like where you've worked before? So, you talk about Southeast Asia and Australia, and then I'm
Mm.
sure like it's a big cultural change, not just for yourself, but for the professionally as well, with the way that you're kind of working. What would you say the biggest kind of adaptations you've had to make there?
Yeah, there's probably a big lesson I learned when I went to Singapore. In Australia, people are like very welcoming to a conversation about change and give it a go, right? Like so it's kind of embedded in the culture. They're like, yeah,
Yeah.
give it a go, like try, right? Um, so conversations. to introduce something new are much more warmly received. Like there's less
Yeah.
skepticism. Honestly, when I went to Singapore, I thought I forgot how to sell. Like I was a few months in, and I was like, something has happened here, right?
Oh,
Like, and
yeah.
you kind of look at it and go, actually, it's me. Like, I need to change the approach, much more softly, much more relationship building needed before you get to the point where you can ask for something. Yeah. Um, but very progressive in terms of where the country wants to go and the people. So I had to change my approach, right? Like, and
Of course.
less about the whiz bang, what's coming, more about tell us what you've done already and prove to us now what you've done.
Yeah.
Um, so the curve of early adopters is kind of harder to get through. Um, but as soon as you get that kind of to that tipping point and word of mouth spreads in Asia, that is way stronger than any other region I've seen before. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Yeah, I've got a friend in who works in Kuala Lumpur, and
Mm.
I'm sure it might be quite similar from what he explains to me how it works there.
Yeah,
So yeah,
yeah, and like that, then the UK, like the UK is very different again. Like, and I think people want to obviously develop and develop their business and be stronger. There's less government support, I would say, than Singapore or Australia, in fairness,
yeah,
and there's more kind of challenges with like the consistency of change and the law and regulation that's really hard to keep up with.
yeah,
Um, it's also a market where there is a lot of competitors in the UK.
okay,
Um,
yeah,
and we tend to come up with more because of the breadth of our platform. We've got payroll, we've got HR, we've got the services arm. So it's just navigating that, like, and this is the job that we're here to do,
yeah,
right? Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. What would you say are top three lessons you've learned throughout your kind of career kind of journey?
Um, the the personality of like me when I look back, like of how I got here, it's because I
Yeah,
said yes for most times. Like, and let me frame that out. I could have stayed in Australia and stayed with zero, and my boss at the time was pushing me to do more. And
yeah,
he tapped me on the shoulder one day and said, "Hey, what do you think about moving to Singapore?" Like 2 hours later, I said yes, right?
yeah,
Um, then when I was in Singapore, my current boss said to me, "What do you think about going to the UK?" And the week before that, we found out that we were having twins. Um,
yeah, yeah.
now I couldn't say yes within 2 hours in that scenario, so that took a little bit longer. But I think
Sure.
it's the mental state of saying, "Hey, there's no reward without risk. Um, life is an adventure. Like if you get the opportunity to jump on a new adventure and you can, like do it.
Yeah,
Um, yes, there's going to be change and stress and all of that stuff, and we've had a year of it, right?
yeah,
But like, why are we here, right? Like, you just kind of want to say yes to some things. The other lesson is just making sure you don't go in like a bull, right? Like to a new place. Like I think that
yeah.
happened to me in Singapore. Like tons of energy, very excited, and then suddenly you just hit quicksand, and you're like, actually, I need to be a bit more self-aware here.
I guess it's how you react
Yeah,
to that as well, though, isn't it? Rather you could have taken that negatively, or and gone in like kind of a downward spiral kind of thing. But if you understand that and you're adaptive to what's going on and
yeah,
understanding the new kind of environment, then it's definitely going to hold you in good stead.
yeah. So that was a big lesson. Third lesson, like take the right breaks at the right time. Like like it's I feel really fortunate to be in fast growth tech companies. But I know when I take a break, I come back stronger. Like if I have a week off, and like
Yeah.
actually have a good mental break. I was probably guilty of just like powering through, like when I was a bit younger, and you kind of go, "Yep, like I need to actually take a break." Yeah.
Yeah, no, I totally get you. I'm one that one. I had a holiday a couple of months ago in Turkey, and I sat there every day for the first few days of the holiday. Sat on LinkedIn. I was posting on LinkedIn. I was checking my emails, and after a little while, I was just like, "Nah, I'm offline now."
It's
And
it's
you have
it's
to.
yeah, it's a habit. right?
Yeah,
Like everything, like if you actually sat back and look at your life and go, that's a habit, like you know, and you just get so used to it. Um, and just breaking some of those habits sometimes is really good
yeah.
for you. Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely. So, Kevin, thank you so much for your insight there into kind of career, your career journey. I love it. I just got a last bit for you, which is this or that, just for the audience to get to know you a little bit better. So, quick as you can, a quick few questions for you. Are you ready?
Go for it.
Right, beer or wine?
Wine.
Wine. Pizza or
Yeah,
pasta?
pizza.
Disco dancing or pub quiz?
Disco dancing.
I just imagining you disco dancing.
Hey, I'm Irish, you know. Yeah.
Hip hop or jazz?
Hip hop.
Star Trek or Star Wars?
Star Wars.
Star Wars. Super duper. That's it
Yeah.
from me. Kevin, thank you so much for your time today. It's been an absolute pleasure, and I look forward to catching up with you soon.
Thank you very much. Appreciate the partnership. Thanks, Russell.